It seems we're live on YouTube as well, right? No, I don't yet. Okay, yes, no, we're live. Welcome, everybody, to Open Class Doodle 27, Tactical Doodles for Success, quotes, 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 quotes. A lot of quotes today that will teach us a lot about life and about success and everything in between. Welcome to the COACHMC studio. This is the place where we'll help actors, performers, entertainers, crazy, beautiful, creative heads to shape unique behavior deliveries, to deliver something compelling, intriguing, and remarkable in the audition room, no matter what you're auditioning for, no matter where the audition takes place. It's always about communicating our ideas, communicating successfully with our audience in a genuine and compelling way. So today we're gonna dive into the world of the quotes, right? And what quotes tell us about a lot of these things that sometimes we dream of, that amazing, beautiful, creative people have achieved before us in a different manner, of course. And they kind of, they call us back from the future already, from their peak performance, and they're sending us these messages, right? And we should kind of, take care of those messages and kind of, observe them closely, because those messages from these people that achieved it already, they're probably pretty valuable, don't you think? And they probably can teach us a lot about our own creative process and how we get to that peak performance, to that summit point of success, to that new cornerstone of your cathedral of success. So let's dive into two doodles today. Hello, Sylvia. Hello, chat. Hello, stream. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Instagram. Hopefully everything is working over there as well. I'm trying to reactivate a couple of things here. It seems like, sometimes, this is... It's kind of a crazy thing, this thing called technology, right? Good evening from Germany. What a fascinating topic. I already love it. Hey, Annie Boo, thank you so much for joining. Thanks so much, Sylvia. Thanks so much, Sonia. Hello, all. Hello, chat. Hello, stream. Beautiful to have you here. Quotes, 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 indeed. Let's jump right into it without wasting any of your precious time, because today, like I said, I think I have a pretty good one for you. I'm also including a doodle that I've produced a couple of months ago for one of our audition tip acting masterclasses that you can still kind of look up and rewatch on my YouTube channel, the COACHMC Studio. And since I believe this was a truly powerful also quote ensemble, I just wanted to repropose it today as well, and I created a brand new one for you guys as well. Of course, this is not just just kind of trying to make a shortcut here. It's, I think, still powerful. What I've done there is I produced this work, and I want to share this with you again, because not a lot of people have attended, from the acting community over here, our masterclass, and therefore it's a shame. And I want to give you a little nugget out of that. So here we go. This is the first doodle of today. Quotes, quotes, quotes. Let's take a look at this, right? First of all, when we talk about life and success, right, these are variables that are super arbitrary and very subjective, right? And there are billionaires, right? Because sometimes we attribute the word success with the amount of wealth we have. And there's definitely something about that, right? If you, accumulate a lot of wealth, probably you had success with what you did, and so therefore both are correlated, but they are not necessarily defining really what success in life should be all about, right? It's just a path that we can take. It doesn't really mean that that is the only way to define success. So here I have something that is from Jim Rohn, actually, not an actor, not an entertainer, but yes, an entertainer in a way it is, right? And he created a lot of beautiful thoughts, right? And Jim said, and ideas, and also helped thousands of people. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. Now we're coming back to the principle that even before the Simon Sinek's of our time, right? And these beautiful motivational speakers like Gary Vee and Tai Lopez, all these, very interesting people, they of course are recycling some of the older themes, Earl Nightingale, Jim Rohn, Dale Carnegie, all these great, Napoleon Hill, you name it, right? And so, of course, this kind of goes back to finding your purpose, right? To finding your why. But sometimes the why is also the action that you take. It's not necessarily, because sometimes I hear this very valid argument to say, well, if I, search for my why for the entirety of my life, so it doesn't necessarily kind of translate into big success, fame, and satisfaction. No, that's true, right? Even though certainly there are some monks around this planet, meteoric, the monastery in Greece, and also in Tibetan monasteries and Hindu monasteries in India, they might disagree with you. They say, you know what, it's great to look out for the purpose for the entirety of your life and meditating about that, about the essence of the universe. To them, that is success, right? It defines their life. It gives them a constant, something like a habit that they can reproduce every day. And on the truthful search for the why, yes, you can be a student for the rest of your life. You just have to choose. But I believe that this quote can be also interpreted in a different way. If the why is powerful, the how is easy. So if what you do is not so much your purpose, but the thing that you need to do in order to get to the next station, and that will help you to get to the next station, and that will help you to get to the next station, and so on and so forth, you will start to love the process. Nonetheless, it's not your ultimate purpose of being on this planet, right? But definitely you will love the process because you will have success and satisfaction and acknowledgement through it. So you get in a certain mood of doing it in a great way. I just can, sometimes have you had this experience? Let me know, chat. That sometimes you go to like crazy places, somewhere in the countryside, you're just visiting, you're making like one of those day trips. You don't expect anything, and you just hit up one of those very secluded restaurants, right? And in that area where nobody lives, in this very quiet place, the waiter of this restaurant kind of blows you away. Right? It's just an amazing human being. He talks to you, has a lot of recommendations. He knows about the area, gives you good tips and advices. He brings the best food very quickly to the table. So you think, and you look at this humble, very modest environment, you think, oh, this guy could be, way more successful if he would move to a bigger town, right? And there is also this beautiful analogy from the emperor and the fisherman, right? There is this Chinese emperor who's traveling through, his countryside to kind of visit the little villages, right? And then he sees this guy innocently just fishing, closely to a river, and he's asking him, hey, what do you do? It's like, yeah, fishing. But you seem very relaxed in what you do. And it's like, you're sleeping and you're fishing. Yeah, don't you have work to do? It's like, no, not really. But imagine that if you would hire someone to kind of, come along with you fishing every day, you could fish more fish. And then the fisherman asked back to the emperor, is like, yeah, well, you could sell the excess of fish that you've collected, right? Once you would to share it with the other fishermen with your help, and then sell that and make more money. And then, well, you could buy a couple of boats and then, fish in the sea. And then the fisherman asked, well, if you again make a lot of money with the bigger amount of fishes that you fish, then you could buy an entire fleet of boats and fish every day for thousands and thousands of fishes instead of just one like you're doing right now. Yeah, and what would be the outcome? Yeah, you could be extremely successful and make money with it, accumulate a lot of wealth. And then the fisherman asked back to the emperor, well, and then you could rest in the shade of a tree on the riverside and just, fish for one fish and just, be good sports about everything, what happens around you. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. So the fisherman, in a way, kind of represents Diogenes, right? That thought that you don't need much in order to be happy. And the emperor represents maybe something more like more of an evolved Greek Roman type of school of thought, a philosophy that is about accumulation, and therefore accumulation brings you knowledge, and knowledge brings you wisdom, and that brings you fortune. Yeah, sure. Both trains of thought are not wrong or right. It's about how you choose to apply what you do in the moment, and to realize that it's your choice. It's your destination that you're choosing. These are your weapons. Does this make sense? So that already is success. It's not whether it gets, kind of perceived by a big mass or by a huge audience, if you're always immersed by spectators, or if it's just one single human being, or if it's just you, right? Just kind of perceiving the quietness of being alone sometimes and kind of enjoying that wherever that, may lead you. So, hey, what's up? Called Classic Cage is in the house. Are you coming in for the more philosophical stuff, right? Instead of gaming all day, now you get some knowledge and some good quotes. Is this what you do? You're compensating definitely check out Cult Classic Cage's channel. She's amazing. When she's gaming, when she's playing, I'm sometimes hopping into the stream, witnessing her scandalous rants about bad games, and yeah, she's just an entertaining piece of marble, right? Also part of the Saturday Night Hypnosis guests. Sometimes she's on the panel there as well with me every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Hypnotics channel. So definitely check her channel out. Subscribe to the Cage Rage. So 2 trains of thought right away. You know, it's like you choose what success ultimately means to you, of course. And according to that, what you do is easy because that is already powered by your why, by your purpose. But, you know, Martin Luther King, he tells us, Junior, that not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. I couldn't agree more. I think that's, here, look at, do you know what that is down here? These are my feet. These are my, oh, look at them. Oh, I should do something about it. Yeah, I do run a lot. Look at this picture. So unprofessional, I'm sorry. But Martin Luther King Jr. is completely right when he says greatness is determined by service. Why? I think ultimately, as human beings, it's about, you know, serving people. And always interested in your words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Absolutely, absolutely. No, we're big fans of each other. That's marvelous. I'm so glad I found you. Really, you give spice to this whole YouTube game. And by the way, this is, you know, Cult Classic Cage. Speaking of service, she's serving her community. People are showing up because they want to know what she thinks about games, what she thinks about entertainment, what she thinks about different aspects of life. Right? I mean, she's also, you know, the Cage Rage is also famous to talk about politics and about the ways of thinking of, you know, of the determined force that is right now in place. And it's beautiful to, you know, to get from one idea, from one topic, from one thing to the next one, because this is how we create. And so therefore we are of service already. Everybody should be, because if you are determined by service, Martin Luther King said something beautiful, because if you're determined by service, you're not ego driven necessarily all the time, right? Because your focus lies outward. It's you shift your perspective. Hey, it's not about me. Let's give them a good show. Let's tell them something meaningful. And therefore it's not about how I feel right now. It's how about, you know, how I do it and how I can kind of produce that. And sometimes it fails, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. My product won't be perfect all the time, or won't be top-notch quality all the time. We aim for that. We should aim for that. This is what it means, right? Because if it's determined by service, of course you want to improve your service, and you improve your quality, and then all of a sudden you become an artisan. And an artisan is someone who's truly wise, right? Because it's someone who's investing in himself. And this is what you should do as well. And therefore, why don't you come over to readytoperform.com? This is my website. If you want to invest in yourself, in your toolbox, in your skills, and, you know, investing in improving and getting new ideas and finding out who you really are, acting wise, performing wise, creative wise, then definitely you should check us out and send me a message. If there is a monologue you want to work with, if you want your material, your portfolio to get audited, we do portfolio audits as well. They're super fun, and you get videos back kind of detailing, explaining everything that you need to know from someone who's a true connoisseur of the entertainment industry. And therefore, readytoperform.com is your website in order to kind of, you know, aim for that quality, excellent quality service. So definitely check us out. Hit me up with a direct message. Also on Instagram, DM me, send me a nice email, and let's talk about your mission, your quest. Discovery sessions are always for free. Let's jump into one. If we're a great match for each other, we can start a new adventure. Think about that. Speaking of which, new adventures, we have a brand new adventure coming up also. Just let me use this little sneaky commercial break right here. I know, I'm a bad person. Okay, just put the money on the table and shut up. Just walk out, right? Don't make it even tougher for me, right? I don't like to do this, right? I don't like to do this, but hey, this is the COACHMC studio. Our mission here is to make you better. And so therefore, April 27th, breaking down the script. This is a huge superpower for actors, performers, entertainers. If you really can get the maximum content, critical mass out of your script, whatever script we're talking about, whether you're a real estate agent, a public speaker, an actor, right? It's about understanding effectively. And there are some tools that I will share with you. You can just register for free down here. Link is in the description, and kind of join the beautiful masterclass that we have coming up April 27th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Zoom, final Q&A. Great. Yeah, it's just a great opportunity. Also connect with other creators. We have a little networking thing going on. We present and expose ourselves. We come together as a creative community, asking questions, getting better, improving our skill set each and every day. This is how we, become these artists. And so definitely join us, right? Because this is the true superpower of actors, right? Really breaking down effectively what the script is giving you. Definitely a great opportunity. So make sure to register and also show up. We have a lot of registrations all the time. I understand you guys are all busy partying, taking pictures, Instagram. No, but seriously, I know we all have very busy schedules, but hey, if you register, I think of you already, right? My heart is already with you. I think of all the people there. I just want to plan this in the most, effective way. And then if you don't show up, it's a shame, right? Because it's a missed opportunity, I feel. So definitely, if you register, come over. Yes, I'm just chilling myself. Is this okay? Is this acceptable, Classic? Thank you. No, because no one else is doing it. No. Okay. Here we have some fans from the show, but let's get back to topic. Let's not chill, right? Let's not, promote our own work. No, let's not do that anymore. Let's talk about the good stuff, the juicy stuff, definitely. So let's jump back into this doodle very quick before we jump into the one that I did for today's show. This, like I said, was part of the Acting Tips Masterclass. I think it was for the audition tip. I think it was Audition Tips Volume 2, if I'm not mistaken. And that we had trouble recording it. And I think that's why it was just for that live event. So I don't feel like too bad, just my feet that this is bad, but otherwise I don't feel too bad about showing you this, right? It's not really like a used product in that manner. It's always great stuff, right? So Stanislavski said, no, this is Strasberg. No, this is Stanislavski, I'm sorry. I have no method. I just do everything I have to do. I have no method. I just do everything I have to do to get what I want and need out of an actor, right? So behave naturally. This is great because it's not just acting. It's about, whatever you're communicating. Again, it's about communicating your ideas effectively. And there is no method. Of course, there are ways of improving your speech. By the way, check out our public speaking program. Very powerful stuff. 5 sessions, high condensed, and you will be transformed in terms of how you reach out to your audience. But not chilling for myself. I'm just saying, right? I'm just throwing this in there. No, out there. I mean, of course, there are techniques on how to get better, on how to pronounce things more effectively, on how to articulate more precisely and in a more astute way, whatever you have on your mind. Of course, there is a huge chunk of it is technicality and repetition, no doubt about it. But there is also a consistent part of speaking to people. Let's say Cage. No, I'm not just doing that because you're here, but Cage is a great example. Cage never went to, or please correct me if I'm wrong here, but Cage, as far as I know, she never went to a drama school. She never learned public speaking. She never went to any workshop. Nonetheless, her communication is flawless, right? She can talk for hours. When she goes on a rant, she's highly entertaining, super offensive. You get a lot of jokes. And she's super inventive, right? So she has this inborn talent that through practice and also through her environment just got better over time through studies as well. But in a way, she compensates for the lack of structure, right? And an academic type of structure. She compensates that with her, just with her eerie spontaneity and her inventiveness, right? That happens right on the spot. So communication is both. Right? It is both. There is no method. There is no way of saying, yeah, this guarantees 100% success and results like forever. No, it's to behave naturally. It's to really kind of put in whatever you got and just don't stop till you feel like, all right, now I've delivered. Now there is the mic drop happening, right? Before that, you don't stop, right? Just push through it, even if it feels awkward sometimes, right? It will, probably will, most definitely. It should. Everything feels awkward where your future success comes from in the first place. In the beginning, everything feels awkward that will, in the end, deliver major success. It's always like that. If it doesn't, if it's not feeling awkward and if it's not hard work, then probably you're not doing it right. You probably are not hitting the right direction. I truly mean that. Here, Willem Dafoe tells us that no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit about the process. Again, there is no method. There is no uniform way of acting. And you could say this about fashion design, about making music, about writing, about, whatever that is a creative act, right? There is no uniform way of creation, of being creative, of art. Everybody's different, right? Every film, every play, every part of the job is to find and do the appropriate process for the appropriate role, AKA the appropriate project, the appropriate pitch meeting, the appropriate negotiation, all these things, the appropriate piece of art that you want to create. Here is something also Johnny Depp heard from his grandmother, and apparently Jeff Goldblum kind of used that quote, or he came up with it, or both came up with it. I don't know, but I remember because I covered Johnny Depp's life on my Instagram channel, Learn from Legends, great show, by the way. Just saying, right? Not chilling. And Johnny Depp's grandma always told him, follow the beat of your own drum. Never walk to someone else's beat. And Jeff Goldblum is picking up on that, I think. Or he just had the same idea and the same, inspiration, which is totally possible, right? There are, stories of patents that have been registered at the same day, sometimes even at the same time, which is absolutely nuts. Called Classic Cage. I have no special training by any means. I just know how to relate to the average person, and I'm slightly funny. You're not just slightly funny. Come on, cut yourself some slack here, which is better than 90%, 99% of them, for sure. No, you're crazy funny. Women usually are not that much, right? And so you have always a way of spinning that. And like I said, now this is very good. Thanks for adding that, because I believe it kind of, proves the point, right? It's just, you know how to relate, you put things together, you put things into a context, and bada boom, off you go. And he tells us, a singer I met once told me, nobody starts good enough. It's all about practice. For sure. I really like that quote, so I made a doodle out of it. Very good. You definitely have to send this over. We will include it. If you have it, let's upload it and show it today on the show. No, I totally agree. And by the way, thanks so much for smashing the like button, everybody. That's just amazing news. We are at 12 likes already. I'm really excited. This is so far in the show, I think we broke our record for having, reached over 10 likes in the least amount of time, 24 something minutes. I think this is our record. Maybe we could even hit 15 likes, who knows? So definitely don't forget to continue smashing the like button, right? Just continue smashing. Maybe it's appearing twice, who knows? And also kind of, insult everybody else who's not doing it. On Instagram, Facebook, by the way, you can join us over here on YouTube. Just come over. Don't be shy. Yes, come out. Or just get a Google YouTube account as fast as possible. Come over. It's so much fun over here. We have a beautiful chat. We have Classic Cage. We have Annie Boo, Sylvia, Sanitz. I hit the like, right? So the thing about these quotes is why I've discovered quotes quite early in my life, to be like really honest. I always found that quotes give me something because they were coming from someone else and coming out of another environment or coming from more successful people. So I started kind of picking up like on this habit of, searching out for great quotes. And I even bought a complete book just on quotes. By the way, I highly recommend this one. There are many quotes today coming out of this piece of literature. There are some that are really debatable from people. I don't know what they try to convey through certain quotes that I read in here, but most of them are truly fun and very inspirational. Yeah, truly. Like no idea is final, which I think is also a great quote in itself. No idea is final. No idea is final. There's always something that you can do. No idea is final. There's always something that you can add. Right? Just keep that in mind, right? There is no end. It's always the next one. It's always the next one. It's always the next progress. Raza, you can also write something. Biberovic. I like that. Be the coach. So let's jump to the next doodle that I did today. This one is a bit more wordy, but nonetheless, I feel let's blow this up. It's my computer, and let's jump right into the middle. Spike Lee tells us nothing. Oh, let's use what nothing can prepare you for failure. Just like a broken heart, you gotta go through that shit. You gotta go through that shit. You gotta go through that shit. Spike Lee, great quote. Nothing can prepare you for failure. Absolutely. Right? It's like a broken heart. There is no way you can prepare for a broken heart. I had this episode once in my life that I was like desperately in love with this girl, right? It was just, it was a crazy thing. I grew up, I was young. I was like 17, 18 years old, something like that. I even kind of introduced her to my mom. And so to me, it started kind of being something really important. And then she cheated on me. She cheated on me. And she told me through her eyes, this moment I will never forget in my life. She just, I haven't seen her. She went on a vacation. This is where it happened. After she came back from the vacation, we worked in the same store, a Foot Locker store, by the way. And so she came up from the storage room, from the warehouse, and she kind of walked up the stairs. This is how a store was constructed. And she kind of turned around and she saw me, and I could tell she was like something. And then just through her eyes, she told me what she did. It was crazy. It was crazy. And so nothing could prepare me for that moment. I was completely crushed because she had this ability of being very, she had this very strong expression in her eyes. She would have been like a great actress. And she came up, she looked at me, and it was like something like this, right? She told me like, something happened and I'm sorry, and I couldn't resist, something like that, right? And then my heart broke. It was shattered. Right? No, truly, I went home and I sang Celine Dion songs, right? Even that, like the Titanic song, I sang that. Or was it another? No, I think it was another song. And my heart was shattered. But this thing that Spike Lee is telling us here, that what I think he also likes to convey with this message is that there is no way of doing something and it will always be perfect, or you will avoid failure and mistakes. And by any chance, if it happens, it happens. Just go through that shit, like Spike Lee tells us, right? Don't worry. It happens to everyone. Don't beat yourself up. Don't denigrate yourself. Don't auto-flagellate yourself like Opus Dei monks, right? I was a bad guy. I'm a sinner. No, you're not. You're human. You're not a sinner. You were born in sin, which, by the way, means in time, not in sin as, something that it's time, sinus, right? It's the curve of life. You were born in decay, not in sin. Right? There's a slight difference here, like the moral apostle. But coming back, I'm digressing, right? Coming back, the idea is that there is no master, right? This is just you, master, apprentice. You're always, part of both. You have both parts in you, the master and the apprentice. There's no way you can be the one without the other. So the apprentice needs to fail. That's as simple as that. So just go through it. Just go through it. Find ways to push through it. Myself, what I do is I beat myself up. No, seriously. I try to be as optimistic and always as, of course, I will have sometimes a bad time digesting. And that's we are narcissists, creators, artists, actors. There are narcissists to a certain degree, right? Of course, it can be more, it can be less, it can be more toxic, less toxic, but we are narcissists. I admit that, right? I'm on stage because I love to be seen. I love to be perceived on stage or in front of the camera. I have no problem with it, right? I love to have the eyes and the attention on me. That's why I became an actor in the first place. That's why we're on YouTube. I don't have anything against it, to be seen, right? So the narcissist is okay, but once it becomes too important how you look and all that, then you lose the touch of the service. A man is there to serve. right? A man is there, and service goes through that cycle of learning, observing, implementing, right? You need to do that. So there is no implementation without failure. Now, this is a good quote. Synthesis is now equally important to, if not more potent than creation. We look for connections between ideas, whether new, existing, or forgotten ones. The brand new doesn't interest me, Joshua Ramus. If not more potent than creation. We look for connections between ideas, whether existing, new, or forgotten, right? It doesn't really matter. It's the connection. So the synthesis that brings these ideas together, the older, the new ones, it doesn't matter, but the connection that you make, really understanding pattern recognition, how important it is, implementing that. And I say that, like, we have to create these mental archives for ourselves. We have to understand why we react in a certain way. It's not just doing it and then set a practice in place. Make sure you find a habit, a ritual, something where you can reflect upon what you do. It's really the most important part of this game, because through the reflecting you get better, but you also detoxify, right? You depressurize, you de-escalate, because once it's on paper, it's not as prominent and potent anymore, and it's just in your head. It's about, okay, like, what happened to me there? Why did I fail? Why did I succeed, for what it's worth, right? What was the process that got me there? Write down. Can I reproduce that? Yeah, super. Let's do this, right? Let's practice this. This is really nice. Because if you think about it, it's the connection that we make between all these things that kind of lets us to new ideas, to new notions of it, right? And therefore, we don't even know sometimes, or we shouldn't be feeling so entitled about what we think can come out of something, right? Sometimes it's just that you start and all of a sudden, maybe you even forgot about it. You will kind of come across another piece of information, and then you might go and say, wow, that piece of information connects brilliantly with what I just learned or kind of studied or researched a couple of months ago. Let me just grab that out for a second and let me see if there is a connection. And bada boom, all of a sudden you realize that there is indeed a sort of a bridge there, and you will never forget that connection. So that's an added layer to your neural network, which makes you smarter, and that is proven beyond any doubt. Here we have Annie Boo's beautiful doodle, Nobody Starts Good Enough, from Alexander Murphy. Beautiful piece. Thank you so much for contributing to today's Open Class Doodle. If you got doodles that could do the same, please make sure to send them over on Instagram. Hey, that's such a nice drawing. Really nice stuff. Have you done this? I bet you did. Great stuff. I love your font, your calligraphy here, different styles. Very good. Very good. Congrats. Thank you so much. And he adds, Timothy Chalamet once said, you can be the master of your faith and you can be the captain of your soul, but you have to realize that life is coming from you and not at you. It's coming from you and not at you. Yes, I agree, right? We produce that stuff, right? And what we definitely then encounter also later. So I always say, if you want to be a successful actor, then behave like a successful actor every day, right? Like, what would a successful actor do every day? Rehearse, read material, write own material, send out tapes, work on your headshots, work on your resume, work on your monologue, like behave like a successful actor. Don't worry, opportunities will show up. But I just want to come back to this for a quote from Joshua Ramus, who just said that synthesis is now, like, the time have changed. So now this is pretty actual stuff. Synthesis, like bringing together ideas instead of being so worried about creating new ones, and be more a curator of existing material, right? Because sometimes we believe is like, oh no, I have to come up with the ultimate solution, with the philosopher's stone, with the gauntlet of mind. I have to create it. But sometimes the curation of already existing information is equally as creative and equally important as just forcing yourself to come up with something that you feel is a new contribution. Because if you don't feel that, then you're gonna create and create and create forever until, oh, now I have the feeling I have done something new. But you have spent 40 years to do that. Time is over, and then you add one new piece that probably will, not be noticed anyways, because you haven't created substantial work beforehand. That's called the perfect alignment syndrome, right? Before it's not perfect, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to produce. I'm not going to go online. I'm not going to open up a YouTube channel. No, you have to press play before you're perfect. And you get really, really good at it by continuously researching how to improve, and by accepting the failures and implementing your observation into your new workflow. Make sense? So that is, I think, a very powerful quote, because it kind of, again, it de-escalates also the pressure and takes away a lot of load from our backs, responsibility. Great talent means great responsibility, but you have to put it to work, be of great service, like Martin Luther King Jr. said, right? So therefore, it's not worth if you sit there for the rest of your life thinking about stuff instead of just doing stuff, right? So therefore, curating material is equally creative, if not even more potent. Nicolas Cage, this is I'm just jumping, a bit all over the place right now, but I think it's funny because he tells us, avoid acting. Get to the truth of it and be in the moment and trust that something magical will happen. This kind of connects here as well, right? It's not about creating something new and kind of shattering your head about, oh God, this is what is new. No, just be in the moment. Accept whatever is given you, work on that, and just accept the moment and truthfully share whatever comes to you, whatever your instinct is telling you on the spot. You will see magical stuff will happen, because if we are truthful, if we are authentic, if we are powerful, we will force a reaction of someone else. What is acting in the end? It's that you want something, or that you want somebody to do something. That's pretty much it. In the scene, you go out because in the scene there's going to be another character, and you want that character to do something to someone or on itself, or you want that person to react in a certain way. This is, the very, very, like the skeleton, the very, very like basic framework. Of course, there are many more layers, but in a way, this is what we initially want. And if we really want that, if we want that other person to do something that we deem important, then, we will, use different strategies in order to obtain that. Just like in real life, we will, come at this person, pressure this person, being charming to that person, offering something, in somehow making this happen. We will apply all of our talents, all of our strategies, all of our passion, to this one mission in life. If we really want desperately something, or if we want desperately that someone does something. So if you are truthful about that, just trust that, there will be a reaction, there will be something hitting you back. And with that, you can start to work. And out of that work, there will be a chain reaction, right? That person reacts to you really wanting something and putting everything into that mission. And then that person is going to react whether he likes your proposition or not, and adequately or accordingly to that. And then you will react to his reaction, to her reaction. And that will again spark another reaction. Bada boom, bada bum, bada bum, bada bum, 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 bum. Yes, this is the El Mariachi version of the COACHMC studio, right? It is that. If we want something from someone, we will do everything in our measures, right? Everything that we have in the scene in order to kind of obtain that. If we don't obtain that, we will react to that, and dum 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 dum, the corrida happens. And this is the beautiful conflict that all actors have, and this is why it's such a beautiful form of art, because it's an art. Basically, all art forms, but it's a dramatic art form. It's called dramatic because we want conflict. in a scene to happen. Unlikely like in real life, where we avoid conflict at all costs all the time. And so therefore it's a very funny, you know, kind of endeavor to kind of, you know, jump in someone else's shoes and saying, you know, where is the conflict, baby? And going for that is a lot of fun. We shouldn't avoid that. We should indulge ourselves into this freedom. Here we have a beautiful quote by a musician, like a rock and roll musician. As a musician, when you do an album, when you create, you don't owe anything to anyone. But when people start paying for a show, then you've got to give them a fucking show. Thank you for being demonetized, YouTube. But truly, you have to give them a show, right? And so what does this quote mean? It means in the end that when you create something, yes, you should be egoistical about the material. It's you, and you don't owe anything to anyone. Create, go for the authenticity. Don't try to act or anything. Just do it without no holds barred, right? Don't you know, self-censor, or don't judge, or don't try to control your initial spark of creativity. You don't owe anything to anyone. It doesn't matter what people think. Create first, right? As potent and as truthful as you can. But then, of course, once you did that, because every time, and this is arguably like every time we are unapologetic about our material, about our art, this is when we achieve the highest, you know, the highest peaks of quality, right? We are unapologetic. Sometimes we fail because it's, you know, maybe not the taste of time, or sometimes we just go sideways because we've lost ourselves. But hey, we are unapologetic because of that. Because why are we artists in the first place? To have control over our art, to act upon something that we deem important, not to, you know, listen to someone else's opinion all the time. So therefore, when we create, yes, you just go for it. But then when people start paying for a show, that means that they are also, you know, they are taking time out of their schedule. They're dressing up nicely. They're looking for a parking spot. They go through a lot of hustle and hassle, right? And a lot of, sometimes through stress, in order to kind of indulge themselves with our art. So therefore, we should be respectful for that part of the process as well, as much as we, you know, kind of, we ask for that respect in the first place, for that liberty in the first place. But then when it comes down to performing, we should perform, we should entertain, and not preach, and not judge, and not lecture, and not, you know, whatever sometimes, you know, artists feel the need to do during their concerts and all that. It's, of course, if you have a personal note, if you have something that is, you know, that you want to get off your chest, if you have a very personal connection to the audience on a very special night, nobody's telling you to not being personal or intimate or sharing something that is, you know, just about you right now. But it's not about telling other people how they should think, act, where they should go, what's right and what's not. I mean, you don't owe people. You shouldn't be, you know, feeling so entitled to kind of, you know, tell people how they should think. And so therefore, just give them the show, just entertain them, right? We were covering this on this channel on Saturday Night Hypnosis as well, and basically 80% of YouTube is full of that we're complaining that culture has kind of come to such a conformity level where it's just mediocre, preachy, and just not relatable or relevant anymore, because they're trying to tell us how we should feel instead of just entertaining us and giving us good ideas, good stories, something to think about, something that really touches us, inspires us, right? This is what we try to do over here sometimes as well, right? To inspire you. Like this quote is, I think, kind of captures the artistic life pretty well, right? When you create, it's you. Don't censor, turn off distractions. You don't owe anything to anyone. Do that, what you believe in. And then, you know, deal with all the consequences and the results. But when people start paying for that show, when they say, hey, this is good, I want to see that, they come for the entertainment. So give them a show. Be professional about it. Show up with really your best intentions, with the best material that you got. Rehearse everything to the most minuscule, detailed level. Think about all the big and small things that make your show a unique show, improve, you know, and try to give people that magic, because this is what they're coming from. And I can truly tell you also from own experience that if you do that, people will recognize that you're working from your heart with passion, and that you're, just investing in and you're invested through and with your art, and therefore they will always be loyal to your products, unless of course you betray them harshly, right? Which a lot of stars do. They sell themselves out. Like sometimes, like great chefs, right? They open up great restaurants, beautiful restaurants, and they teach us about the importance of pure ingredients and of great food and cooking for yourself, and kind of investing some extra time to kind of prepare a nice dinner for the family, for your partner, to kind of incentivize relationship, all that blah, 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 which is, by the way, not blah, blah, blah. It's absolutely right. But then they shoot commercials for McDonald's. So, there is the hypocrisy sometimes. It's very blatant there. It hits me, right? Because they need to sell themselves also to the networks. They get into big shows, and these shows have build-ins, and, of course, they get a lot of money from these big companies. And so there you see, how the Red Sea is divided all of a sudden, right? Where Moses shows up, the sea gets divided. Yeah. And therefore give people what they need, but also give yourself what you need when you're creating. Here from Judy Chicago, we have a beautiful quote. Art should be beautiful, but the function of beauty and art is to convey ideas. Exactly. Of course, art should be beautiful. But to me, that's common sense, right? A lot of art. I live in Miami. And so Art Basel is a beautiful opportunity. Great, magnificent, absolutely stupendous event all over town. It's crazy how much you can see and perceive, how many shows, galleries, beautiful. But sometimes Art Basel, features artists, and they are just part of an agenda of a philosophy more than of, a real creational act. And so therefore their art, again, is more kind of, talking from a functional standpoint and not from a beauty standpoint, and is just trying to convey a message or anything. And so therefore it's not really art, and therefore it's not beautiful. And art, to me, if it's not beautiful, if a building is not beautiful, it's, well, what kind of architecture creates a building that is not beautiful, right? It's so therefore I can't really appreciate it. So to me, art needs to be beautiful, because the beauty lies in the detail. The detail is created by passion. Passion comes from resilience and consistency, and that will create a great career. So therefore, beauty is equally, means, if you kind of think this through and thoroughly till the end, beauty means also success, right? Because if you are able to create beauty, then most likely success will kick in at a certain point. So art needs to be beautiful, but it's not that art stops there. It shouldn't stop there. Therefore, yes, of course, yeah, if something is beautiful, a model, okay. But when I think about what sometimes these iconic stars get, to kind of pose for a bag or for glasses or whatever, I'm just, it's not about jealousy or anything, but I just think of, the money that some people receive just for, kind of endorsing a brand, instead of giving that money to, to an arts academy, or just donating money to institutions to give more people access to art and to, tools to create those art. It's crazy to me, right? Because beauty is not the end. It should convey an idea. There should be a purpose, a message inside of beauty, not just beauty for the sense. Then it's narcissistic in all of its entirety, and then it becomes just a reflection of the time. And you can say, I can relate to that because I endorse this lifestyle. Otherwise, there is no real message that gets conveyed here, and so therefore it's not relevant for me as a human being. So yeah, art should also convey ideas, not necessarily an agenda or something, but it should convey an idea. What can you do with this art? What is it that you like to illustrate? Think about Salvador Dali and his abstract, super surreal paintings. They convey ideas, and you somehow you catch onto these ideas. Do you understand all of them all the time? Can you completely explain or articulate what they're about? No, of course not. But it's, that's the beauty of art as well. Sometimes it's just there because it's thought-provoking. It gives you a hunch, something else, new ideas. And therefore, if art doesn't fulfill that, then it's not really art, I'm afraid. I certainly don't turn to art, reader. Ackerman tells us, for distraction. Everything else is distracting but art. Yes, exactly. I can 100% subscribe to that. Art is not my distraction. When I create art, I'm working. I know I'm building on my legacy. I'm probably not selling this piece of art, my performance right away. Again, it's the exercise, the practice that makes me valuable, not necessarily showing up on set, but what I did before showing up on set. And so definitely, if you work on your art, you're never just, you're not procrastinating. If you're working on your art, you're working on your art. Everything else is procrastinated, is distracted. You can turn to life, right, in order to distract yourself, but don't forget what your initial mission is: to create great art. Here, David Lynch informs us, you can catch ideas at a deeper level when you start meditating. Intuition grows, and intuition is the #1 tool for artists. Absolutely right. In art, the only valid form of censorship is your right not to listen. Ricky Gervais. I love that. Ricky is a legend. And he demonstrates that with this beautiful and very smart quote as well, right? There is no censorship. Again, also coming back to the quote from Joanne Lemoine, a musician. When you do an album, right? It's all about that. You don't owe anything to anyone, right? You just go, no holds barred. So in art, the only form of censorship is your right not to listen. Not to listen to what? To the idea, to this intuition, to the whispering demon sitting on your shoulder. This is the only censorship. Otherwise, there shouldn't be any censorship, right? If it's comedy, it's comedy. If it's art, it's art. There's no, there shouldn't be an allowance to censor someone else's art. We need all the art to exist, and let people judge for themselves what is like what gives hope, what gives inspiration, what gives ideas, what is beautiful, what moves you, and what is more destructive, what is more evil, what is more dark, what conveys like a strange agenda, which has no meaning at all, and therefore it's completely senseless, right? And just shallow. Well, let people judge. Don't censor the art. The only censorship that should be allowed is your right not to listen to, not to watch that, not just to pay attention to that. Focus on your stuff. I think the key to having a successful career is to find the thing you do well and do it again and again for the rest of your life. Johan Johansson, an Icelandic composer, by the way, if you're wondering who that is. Yeah, again, this is exactly the opposite to what we just read in the beginning with Jim Rohn's, if you have your why, the how is easy. That kind of goes into the direction of finding your purpose first, or finding something purpose-driven about your daily work, and then kind of execute on that. Here we have exactly the opposite. Once you have something, that you do well, right? It's not about being purpose-driven, about that. You just do it well, then do it again and again and again, and do it just for the rest of your life. It's gonna give you a successful career. I agree. I have a cousin. He came out of Sicily, and he moved to California, to San Diego. Just a regular guy, no academic background, nothing really fancy about him, but he was pretty good at baking and cooking. And so he opened up a pizzeria in San Diego, and he became so famous that he had this wild and big mustache, like a really huge thing, weighing a ton. And he insured that. I think it was for $60,000 back then. And he placed that thing that he insured his mustache because it was sort of his logo, his contradistinction, kind of setting him apart from all the other pizza bakers and competitors in San Diego. The people recognized him for that wild and big mustache. So it kind of made a meme out of that before memes actually existed. And he insured that, and he placed that insurance amount on his pizza box. So everybody who got delivered his pizzas was reading that his mustache was insured for $60,000. And that was such a unique thing, right? And he was just this pizza baker who found through time one attribute that made him stand out, besides, of course, the terrific quality of his pizzas. And that was his mustache, like a very, just a detail of his body. But that kind of created that perfect cycle and catapulted him into the pantheon of pizza bakers of San Diego, made him really wealthy. Like he made a lot of money. Just a regular guy, right? So if you find one thing that you do well, just do it again and again for the rest of your life. Yeah, there is a relation there. When you're not fully expressing yourself, you're cheating not only yourself, but the world around you from an actualized self. I'm not sure if I totally understand this quote, but I think what Diane Lane, I think she's an actress. Yeah, she's an actress. What she's trying to say here is an interesting thing. Is like when you're not fully expressing, you're cheating not only yourself, but also the world around you who believes in you, who believes that you could be this, this actual, high achiever, this great performer, this very creative person, or just someone who is of determined service and is delivering excellency, whatever he does, right? So you're cheating also on the expectations of other people, not only on yourself, right? You're letting people down, because if you lead by example, you inspire others to do so as well. And therefore you're making your community better by creating, by expressing yourself truthfully, to your highest potential. So this is an actual, I get this quote. I think this is what she means. And I like that. I do think, I don't know what you think, guys. Let me know in the comment section. I'll be also on Facebook and Instagram what you think of this quote, but I think it's truly powerful. That's true. We're letting other people down as well. It's similar to what in Good Will Hunting is going on, right? Ben Affleck's character in this very iconic, conversation, beautiful conversation, Good Will Hunting, check out the movie, beautifully written. These guys, really, it's a masterpiece. Robin Williams, incredible performance. Not his best one, but an incredible performance. And I believe when they're having this conversation, when Ben Affleck's character is, making, and there is this iconic dialogue where, because Matt Damon is a genius in that movie, but he's not really realizing his potential. He just, he hangs out in Boston, he's doing regular stuff, playing, working as a, on construction sites, and not really kind of going somewhere with his, genius baggage. And so Ben Affleck tells him like, hey, you're not realizing your potential. You're offending me as well as a friend. You're letting me down, because I want to see someone succeed actually out of my environment. So that will give me hope. Maybe my son will do the same, right? Or someone else that I know. And so therefore, this is giving hope to the community that by you not realizing, you meaning Matt Damon's character, by you not realizing your potential, you're hurting my feelings as well, right? You're letting my world down as well. So do something out of your fucking talents, right? I want to come over to your door once and one day kind of, with a 6-pack of beer, watching the game, knocking against your porch door, and you're gone. You're not there anymore. You're not part of this, unprogressive environment. Yeah, now you're setting yourself free, and now finally you're realizing your potential. This is way more important to me as your friend than seeing you around all day and then drinking 6-packs when it's game day, right? This is because you let me have a bad conscience as well. So realize your potential. Beautiful quote by Diane Lane. Massimo Bottura, one of the best chefs in the world, right? Osteria Francescana in Modena. You need 6 months in advance, if that's even enough, right? To book a table there, 3-star Michelin restaurant. He revolutionized Italian cuisine. Great guy, very, very interesting person. There's also his masterclass that you can watch a masterclass, which is truly interesting as well. And he says, one day, if you have a little bit of talent and a lot of hard work, you're going to find out who you are. One day, if you have a little bit of talent and a lot of hard work, you're going to find out who you are. So again, we have a different concept here. It's not about finding your purpose. Go through something that you do slightly well and kind of add enormous hours to this little thing that you can do slightly well. And you will see that the process of adding endless hours to that little thing that you can do well will cost you a lot of extra work, right? Because you have to kind of set your space, organize your life around this little thing that you can do well. And you need to, push through a lot of obstacles. And that means that this thing will grow in you, it will become more precious, more important. And you invest more and more time in it. And so therefore it will grow, it will become better and better and better, that little talent. And at a certain point, you can even become the best in the world with that initially small talent. and then you know who you are, you know what you're capable of in order to reach that. And so therefore, this is a nice quote as well. Very smart, I feel. Let me know what you think. I learn more when I fail than when I succeed. Jessica Chastain. Beautiful quote. Yes. And ultimately, I think that everybody's telling us something similar here. And we're about to close today's episode, guys. Also with these final thoughts, if you don't have anything else to add in terms of questions, let me also know if there is anything that kind of, stuck with you or anything else, right, from today's episode. I think in the end, they're all telling us a very similar message, right? That once you are in the moment, you behave truthfully to what is happening right now, and you focus hardcore on that. And whatever the result of that is, will just be part of your next workflow, of your next implementation, of your next observation, and not be taken personally by any means, but just taking as the service that you want to provide, that you want to deliver to your audience. Then eventually, people will notice what you're doing, right? They will approach you. And then, of course, it's about you kind of turning these opportunities that people kind of misunderstand as luck. There is no such thing as luck. There is preparation meets opportunity. And these opportunities that will show up, because the universe is perfect. If you put out hard work will hit your back. If you put out dominant work, you will dominate the work. And so therefore, you will start having traction with what you do. And I think these artists inform us that, yes, you should take your art very, very personal. It's super important, as closely, as personal, as intimate, as vulnerable as you can get when you create it. But then also be aware that there is an audience. And you need to entertain them. And it's good sometimes to be of service and not be self-centered all the time, and kind of give them also a little bit what they need. I can tell from my perspective as well, when you're acting, you come with an idea to set, to your monologue, to your audition, you just, you went through your own preparation, and then you meet the casting director, the director, or the other colleague on set, and they have a completely different vision of that same scene. And all of a sudden, you clash against those different, these different views. They will most likely clash against each other. It's nothing bad. It's just an exchange, a conversation, dialogue, sometimes a bit more hot-tempered, sometimes a bit more cool, but in a way, it's always kind of getting some middle ground and understanding that, this is collaboration in the end, is what makes the art a collective experience. Thank you. Annie Boo says, you said that you want to motivate and inspire us, and I can tell you, you do. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am inspired. That's lovely. Fantastic. Now, translate that inspiration, translate that critical mass of energy that you're feeling right now, which is, I'm truly, grateful for you sharing that, but also as a coach now, right? Professional deformation, I would call this, right? I'm advising you to turn that inspiration immediately into work, because otherwise by tomorrow it will be just hot air. To work can also mean to place it on paper, to kind of rewatch the show and taking some other notes, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you necessarily have to go on stage with that, but just, turn that energy into traction. Amelia, Dorothy, Matza, hello. So, looking back at this, to the 27th episode of 27 episodes, Open Class Doodle, looking back at this, I think they're all conveying a very beautiful, very strong, very passionate message. All these artists, great chefs, beautiful musicians, filmmakers, actors, directors, they all coming from a very similar place. They just articulate it differently, but in a way they're all saying to us, beautiful, yes, but not just self-related. It needs to be of function, it needs to be of service, but it needs to be you, authentic, and whatever that is, right? And you are the artist that you are, right? I always want to be a better artist. Of course, there will be no end to this mission, and that's okay. And maybe I will never reach the level of artistry that I hope to achieve one day, or that I feel like I should achieve one day. But, the quest will keep me, on track, and it will be, it will turn me into someone who's contributing to that process. So I'm in the process already. I'm not outside observing. I'm part of the fabric. And I want you to achieve that, to be part of the fabric. Don't be an outsider. Don't be just an observer. Jump right into it. You know, take that leap of faith. Come over to the COACHMC studio. Definitely be part of the Ready to Perform community. It's a great community, guys. Over here in Miami, we have a lot of fun. If you are from the greater Miami area and you want to upgrade your artistic level, then definitely hit us up. Come over. But we also kind of provide you with great online sessions, with super material throughout the weeks, with a lot of conversations, with direct communication that is effectively just aimed at making you better. As yes, ciao, tu sei molto bravo, ciao, grazie, molto gentile. And yes, that's what we're here for. So definitely hit us up. Also look out for the next open class doodle that is happening on Tuesday. Why on Thursday? It's on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be part of the Saturday Night Hypnosis with the legendary Hypnotic and the beautiful panel members. Give them a shot as well. Don't forget the masterclass happening the April 27th. There is still room for you to register. The tickets are available on Eventbrite. We have a little community there as well. You can join me also through Instagram, through my Linktree. There are many ways to get to this beautiful occasion. Definitely check out my Twitter account. Come and hit me up for a free trial session for anything that you want to discover wherever you are. You know, we teach a lot of students all over the world, and definitely if you check out our other videos, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. It's just that little thing, right? Just that little push, 0.00036 calories, nothing else. And you just made our day worth living, right? It goes such a long way to support our endeavors over here at the COACHMC studio, the place where we'll help you to shape those unique behavior deliveries. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us till the end. Open Class Doodle 27 is out. It was a great opportunity to exchange also with the chat. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Carl Classic Cage. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you to everybody showing up also on Instagram, on Facebook. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Support our endeavors live 3 times a week, 2 times on our channel, once on Hypnotic's channel. And we're also around being guests on other talk shows. Check out our next Talks on Acting show. It's going to be a huge one with a great world famous casting director. Oh, guys, so much information hitting your way, so many nuggets, so much value. See you next time. Have a great, beautiful upcoming weekend. And don't forget, now you're ready to perform.